Hi, this is Jim Francis. Welcome back. Well, we're going to talk a little about marketing and specifically ads, how to write an ad, what the key elements are with respect to it. And when you think about advertising or ads, and this has to do with a classified ad, it may do with a website selling page, it may do with a flyer that you're trying to create. You have to kind of think about how you grab attention, how you talk about features and benefits, how you sell emotionally versus logic, and you have to think about a call to order, which might be one of the 9 or 10 best-selling offers, which is in another video. But the whole key to doing this is really developing a system or a format for you to get good at advertising and marketing and things of that nature. So I'm going to talk first of all about the ad or creating an ad and the four basic elements of good copy and a piece with respect to that. Number one is you got to grab attention. And in fact, grabbing attention is one of the most important things you can do. So you should have a unique title, a unique grabber, something that's going to make sure that people read the balance of the ad. It's got to be specific to that person, that the audience that you're targeting. If I was talking to older people, and thinking about money or wealth, I might do a grabber headline, something like, would you like more gold in your golden years? If I'm thinking about, radiator company that for cars, I might put, the best place to take a leak, and it's got a picture of my business underneath it. So grabber headlines are interesting, and in fact, I would suggest to you want to get pretty good at grabber headlines. Now I used to keep like hundreds of them, and when I would write an ad, I would go look at all the hundreds and pick one or two that really turned me on. But nowadays, you can actually find that pretty easily, by going and looking at grabber headline creator, and you'll find that there's a couple of software programs out there that would generate 700 plus grabber headlines, so we can have some fun with it. And in fact, if I get a chance, I'll actually take you to a site where you can see that titlegenerator.com. So the next piece is you got to talk about features and benefits. And when you think about features and benefits, a feature is something that the item does. The benefit is really what it does for you. So for example, on a remote control device for a computer or for a hand unit for a cable television remote, the clicker, right? It might turn things on or turn things off or move the channels. But I mean, the benefit is really you sitting in the comfort of your home, of your couch, and not having to get up and move around. So it saves you energy or whatever it might be. You also have to realize that people justify with logic and they buy emotionally. So you do want to make sure that you take a look at the piece about the four social styles, the four types of people, because their values are important to sell to when you're thinking about selling in general, and certainly when you think about writing an ad with respect to it. You also want to make sure that you got a nice call to action, right? Call to action is going to be that one of the 9 offers, whether it's a free trial or a discount or something specific like that. You want to think about the grabber headline, in terms of giving them some sort of tangible result within a period of time. So, in my influence program or my selling from stage program, I would say, let me show you how to double your results in the next 30 days. And that gives them something tangible and a time frame with respect to it. So you want to make sure that your copy is specific and it touches people's needs and sometimes even their dreams. An example of that might be, I used to sell a tax product, and the tax product would literally allow you to save $1,000 to $5,000 in the next 30 days. Well, that's a nice feature, but what does it really do for you? Well, I can link that to different types of personalities or different types of benefits. I might say, let us show you how to save $1,000 to $5,000 in the next 30 days so that you can build a strong retirement program for your future, right? Because the likelihood is your pension or your retirement program is not going to be there when you think it is. So I can link it to an older person that's concerned about money. I could say something like, let me show you how to save 1,000 to 5,000 in the next 30 days so that you can do that special vacation with a loved one. I mean, there's nothing better than sitting on the Maui beach or a Hawaiian beach, looking at the black sand, looking at the sunset, having a glass of champagne, and the tax man paid for it. So I can wrap my message, around something that's fun and exciting and things of that nature. And when you think about it, there's a lot of emotions that people have. There's recognition, there's love, there's security, there's health, there's fear, there's enjoyment, there's, treasure. Um, Becoming a wordsmith with respect to that is actually a great thing for you to study. In fact, I would ask you to pick up a book called Words That Sell by Bayon, right? A great book that talks about topics like results or like enjoyment, and then comes out with phrases that you can use in your copy and in your selling with respect to it. Make bold statements in your headlines. Make them unique, make them different. For example, I was doing this years ago when I taught a business workshop, and we would take a look at people's business and we would try to come up with something that's different, unique. And we had a lot of couple of different exercises that we did, like coming up with cool grabber headlines was always one. So we had a dating service, and her, it was an older lady, and her grabber headline was "Meet that perfect someone," right? And she did this in a safe environment where they met in a public location and stuff of that nature. So we changed it to safe sex tonight. It pushes the envelope a little bit. At the same time, the safety part of it, so she had a chance to explain it, doesn't really matter because it's the headline that makes and forces you to read more, right? We had a cleaning service, and we came up with learn learn about our new patented leather, and rather than that, we would say something like, "Hey, I'm into leather," and that obviously got attention as well. We had an MLM company that their headline was "Make big money." We wrote it to a more personal kind of level where we said, you deserve to be driving Porsche 911. So appealing to that driver personality. A small business. We had one that says, you can, with your small business, you can make a lot of money. We decided to make a headline that said, "Fire your boss today," right? So the more dynamic, the more unique, the better off it can be for you, right? I know we did one for a jewelry company, and we said, celebrate your divorce with a meltdown, right? So we can come up with some funky ones that are going to help people with respect to a pest control company. I remember we did, and they had, get your pest control done professionally. And we put on a statement that said, throw out your unwanted guests. So the more unique, the better the grabber headline, the more it's going to grab attention, get people to really read through it, right? You also need to remember that words give feelings, so you've got to make sure you use, some of those key phrases and words, words like, things like announcing now, an important, remarkable breakthrough, right? This is magic. This is your last opportunity. Use words like that influence people. And again, you can kind of think back to that Words That Sell book that I mentioned. Write factual and direct copy. You're going to make sure that it's factual. You want to make sure there are a number of statistics in it because there are people out there that are analytical in kind of nature, and you need to use simple numbers to influence them. You want to make sure you got borders and clip art and pictures, because a picture says more than words. Beside me, I've got marketing, right? That gives a conveyance of something that I would not get if I was just here by myself talking to you, right? So make sure you're using. Make sure you got testimonials in your material. It's always good to have celebrity testimonials, but it's good just to have people testimonials. And nowadays, more than ever, it's important to have video testimonials. I can have a dozen people that I've done really incredible things with. I'm thinking about my Selling from Stage product. A dozen people, or I can have 60 seconds from Brian Tracy, telling me that I'm one of the smartest people he knows. And I know that 60 Seconds for Brian will do more because he's a celebrity. He's written 70 books, than the dozens and dozens of people. But you want both, right? Make sure you use the top of the page and the bottom of the page. They call this below the or above the fold, I should say. On the internet, it means use the top of your computer screen and the bottom of the computer screen, right? So you get important messages with respect to that, right? If you're not good at copier, I'd suggest that you get professional help. You may go to Upwork.com and have something written for you. I mean, I remember that I could get 2 sales letters done for $100. Rather than me spending a day or 2 days writing it, I'd much prefer somebody else write it for me. Use headlines to sell. In a direct mail program or in a website, it is the headlines, the 3 to 6 headlines that are important, right? So you want to make sure that you've got grabber headlines, inviting people to read more copy or read through it with respect to it. Most people, when they read something, they don't really start at the beginning and read all the way through. What they do is they scan it first, and that will give you important messages. And then once you do the important messages, get them to read into the pieces. Use graphics to grab attention, right? A picture of somebody, enjoying your product service is so much better than you saying you'll enjoy your product and service, right? You want to make sure you use the top and the bottom. Include testimonials. Make sure you've got 3 to 7 major elements to get people to accept, right? It takes three to seven major benefits for people to accept before they're going to buy your product or service. Think about bolds. You can bold a headline, make it stand out, right? Make bold statements. Make bold statements about your product. Use power words, right? There are certain power words like it's guaranteed, it works, it's results, it's magical, it's one of a kind, it's a treasure, it's rare, it's unique. Those kinds of words sell and influence, so you want to get good at using those words. Make sure your sentences are short. Don't do the and. Short sentences. In fact, I remember being in the cable television business, and I was a general sales manager at the time and had a vice president of marketing, and we had this conversation, and she was very intelligent, had a very high degree. I had a college degree, university degree, and I would write in short sentences. I would write direct. I would write like I'm talking to you. She would write an essay, right? And we had this competition one time where we took her letter and my letter and put them side by side and sent them out. The short, direct letter that had short words, easy to understand, writing to a grade 6 level, not writing to a grade 11 level. That one did better than the one that was a college essay, right? So you want to make sure keep it short, keep it easy. Sell the dream. Sell the intangible, sell the dream, sell the desire, not necessarily the features of the product or service. Remember, people buy for emotion, and they justify with logic. So make sure there's a call to action, right? That call to action should also have an incredible sense of urgency as well, right? And use headlines to sell. That's one of the most important things you can do when you're thinking about it with respect to it. So this is Jim Francis saying, I hope you enjoyed those tips and tools with respect to ad writing and getting on the right step or the right foot to success. Until we meet again, may God hold you softly in the palm of his hand. Thanks for playing with me for the last little while. I'll see you next time. Bye.